Hello, and welcome to the Business Development Series from High Impact 360. My name is Nikita Jones, and I am proud to present to you the three keys to conquering business overwhelmment and preventing burnout. So, workplace burnout is real. We all experience burnout and stress from time to time. But what is the difference between feeling a little stressed out at work and being burnt out? There is a clear difference, and don't let anyone fool you. Workplace burnout is real. And my job today is hopefully to provide some tips and tricks to help you successfully navigate through workplace burnout and stress so that you don't get completely burned out and you can still produce and provide services to your business and also to your clients. So as employees or entrepreneurs, we bring our whole selves to the table. We are moms and husbands and wives and friends and community leaders and partners, and we carry all of those stressors to us when we show up at work. So it's important for us to learn how to balance these stressors and also manage ourselves and others so that we can confidently provide services and be happy and healthy. So, if you've experienced burnout at work, you are not alone. 60% of American workers are experiencing at least a moderate level of burnout. This is critical because when we experience burnout, we are not able to give our whole selves. We bring all of the stressors and all of the overwhelming experiences with us. And when we don't know how to manage those, it can get in the way of performance. I experienced that all too well. I have 3 children. They're all teenagers. I am a wife. I am a mom. I am an entrepreneur. I work to support small businesses. I work in my community. And I understand that sometimes it can get overwhelming because you are, especially for me, I am here to serve. And so when we give so much to other people, it's hard to find that space to give to ourselves, to pour back into us. And so there's strategies and ways to manage all of these things. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. So a little bit more about myself is that I have over 20 years experience in human resources, business consulting, executive coaching, and supporting small businesses. I have seen companies that succeed in managing all the stresses and all of the pressures. And I have seen businesses that fail as well. And so it's important for us as leaders within our community, within the workspace, within our organizations to be able to balance. And balance is the key to being successful. It's a delicate balance. So stress and balance, we have to learn how to manage that. So growing up, I was never taught how to balance and manage and navigate my stress. I just assumed that when we're stressed at work and we bring our whole selves with us and we are pulled from different directions, it's just par for the course that we are expected to carry a level of stress. And the lines are blurred from personal to professional. And I was never taught how to balance or manage the two. So, what is workplace burnout? And what puts us at risk of being burnt out? So, workplace burnout is a state of physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion that caused from a prolonged excessive stress from the workplace. So, it's not stress when we have to hand in a report or when we have to discipline a staff member or if we have to, talk to a key stakeholder. It's more than that. It's prolonged, it's long lasting, it affects us physically and emotionally. It's characterized by a feeling of cynicism, And it's also characterized by a feeling of detachment, and it decreases our sense of personal accomplishment. So it's more than just I'm feeling stressed at work. It attacks us and it makes us feel as though we don't love what we do anymore. So we have to really take a personal inventory to decide, are we stressed? Do we hate our jobs? Or is it just that we have a hard time managing all the stressors that come with being ourselves? And so looking at some of the things that puts us at risk and some of the symptoms of workplace burnout are chronic fatigue or exhaustion. How do you feel when you get up in the morning? Are you tired every day when you feel like you've gotten enough sleep? When the thought of going into the office just exhausts you? When your performance decreases? Has your supervisor or coworker said, you haven't been yourself, you haven't been really performing the way that you normally do? Do you have a negative attitude when you go to work or towards your colleagues? Have you kind of presented the symptoms of quiet quitting? How we're hearing that more and more today, that people just are passive when it comes to getting their work done. They're not fulfilled. They don't have the passion. They are just kind of passive. Do you have symptoms, physical symptoms like headaches or insomnia, digestive system, issues? Are we decreased in motivating and engaging at work? These are some of the signs of workplace burnout. And what I want you to do is take a personal inventory on how do you feel when you think about work. When you think about going into work and performing your duties, how do you feel on the inside? What kind of emotions come up when you even think about the idea of going into work, even when you're not at work? Other symptoms could be increasing feelings of irritability. Are you angry all the time? Are you mad at coworkers for no reason? Are you upset when you drive in the car? Does your stomach hurt when you drive into the office? When you have to log in on that Zoom call, how do you feel? Are you completely engaged, or are you disengaged? Difficulty concentrating and making decisions. Are you looking for other areas to cope, other mechanisms to cope, like alcohol or substance abuse? Do you have a decrease in physical energy, and are you susceptible to illness? These are all signs and symptoms of workplace burnout. So, guys, I have to stress that workplace stress and burnout is real. And it's up to us to be able to manage our workplace burnout, our workplace overwhelming feelings. How do we balance that and how do we manage that? And I don't know if we've been really taught how to do that. So I want you all to know that you're not alone. Everybody at some point feels that they have been stressed or feel as though they are not the same as it used to be at work, or that they're overwhelmed, or that they need to feel like they need to move on. Is it the job, or is it that you having a difficult time managing what's going on at your job? So take a good look at your daily activities, do an inventory, and understand what is it that you do from day to day. And are these activities, are they stressing you? Are they overwhelming you? What is going on in your personal and professional life, and how can you adjust? Decide what you will do to change. When will you change, and what will you do to change? Who will help you change, and what resources and support do you need to change as well? So there's three key pillars to examine when we want to change and be able to take back and take hold of being overwhelmed at work. Number one is managing ourselves. What's the time for yourself and the personal growth that you have put aside for yourself? Also managing others, the relationships and the friends and the family that come along with your personal life and professional life. And also managing things, time spent on social media, projects, and things that we have going on that are outside of ourselves and other people. So managing yourself. I believe that this is one of the most difficult parts of this is managing yourself, because we spend so much time as people in the community, as leaders, as business owners, of giving to other people. We're giving to the business, right? We're giving to our coworkers. We're giving to the community. But what do you give to yourself? And I think the first step to conquering being overwhelmed is to admit that you have a problem and you have the power to fix it. You have all the resources and the support that you need. It's a matter of tapping into it. So there's tools that you can have right in your arsenal, in your toolbox, that you can use to help manage yourself. So there's time management tools, there's stress management tools, and there's task management tools. You can do this. If you feel that you are not equipped to manage yourself, well, I'm here to tell you that you have everything inside of you to do this. You have what it takes to manage yourself, and you don't need anyone to help you do that. You do need support and you do need resources, but you have this all inside of you to manage yourself. Time management tools. I cannot stress how important it is to start to look at time management tools and incorporate it in your daily lives. I used to be one of those people who just didn't have time. I thought that it was a waste of time, a waste of energy to do a to-do list or to put things in a calendar or to have techniques that I am trained on to use to help manage myself. And I am here to tell you that these three tools that are on the screen in front of you have definitely helped me to manage everything that I have going on. The first thing that I want to talk about is the Pomodoro method or technique. This is a time management tool that helps you to focus and literally get things done. So I am a writer. I write for a living. I blog. I had to do a dissertation. I'm working on a book. And being able to put time aside for those specific projects and for you is paramount to getting things done. So the Pomodoro method is where you have a timer and you mentally set a time for yourself to say, in the next 25 minutes, I am going to completely focus on getting this task done, whether it's writing or whether it's responding to emails or whether it's, completing a report. Putting 25, 30 minutes aside and completely focusing, cutting everything off and focusing on that task. And then when the time is up, you stop, take a 5-minute break, go get something to drink, go use the bathroom, call a friend, scroll on social media, and then you take the next 25 minutes to get things done. This has worked for me because it helped to keep me on task. I knew that within that 25 minutes, it had to be strategic. It had to be purposeful and meaningful. And so I put my phone on silent. I turned off all the notifications and I was completely focused and honed in on getting that task done. I took a break because we have to know that it is important for us to take mental breaks. Our brains are designed and wired to complete a certain task and be focused for a certain period of time. And your mind needs time to be creative. It needs time to explore. It needs time to learn in other different ways. And when you give your mind a chance to take a break, you can be refreshed and go back to that activity or task. A to-do list is paramount. We have all kinds of things going on, and taking time to write out a list and actually checking off or putting a line through that task, putting a priority list together, having a sense of urgency or importance at the top and things that can wait at the bottom is paramount to helping to get things done. You can visually see the things that you have to do. You can visually see that you're accomplishing your goal. You can visually see all the things you have to do, so it's not a cloud in your head or over your head. It's more like, here it is in front of me. I can attack it and I can see what I need to do and I can check it off the list. I am a paper and pencil kind of person, but there are so many resources that you can use to get things done. You can even use the notes feature in your cell phone. You can use tools that are to-do lists. There's literally to-do list apps that you can have installed on your phone, which is excellent because there's notifications on reminders. You can scratch it off the list, and you can literally see your progress from day to day. Calendar and scheduling tools. I cannot function in life without a calendar. So, a calendar is going to be important when you can see your day from a broad perspective, your month, your year, planning for the future, planning on the day, planning on how you're going to get things done, being reminded of those meetings is going to be helpful and can help you manage yourself. So I understand that it's easier said than done. It's easy for me to say, to use these tools and to incorporate it into your day, but being intentional and purposeful and put these tools to use will help you streamline your day and help you save time. I literally used to think that it was a waste of time to get a piece of paper and a pencil and write tasks out. I figure I have it all in my head. I know what to do. I got to get these things done, and that's just the way it is. But when I started to kind of make it a habit of checking things off the list, of crossing things out, of putting that stamp on of I am done and I did it, will help me to keep me motivated. So tools and systems might include software to help you manage, paper and pencil, whatever you are comfortable with. Start getting into the habit of using tools to better manage yourself. So stress management tools. So these are techniques and things that you can do, whether you're in the office, whether you're at home, taking a quiet time for yourself and quiet all of those thoughts and those tasks that keep running through your head. Sometimes we need to take time for ourselves, and that is a part of personal wellness, of stopping to just give and literally to fill your cup back up. I tend to use this as an example that myself, I am a natural giver. I want to give. I receive gratitude and I receive reward when I'm able to give to other people. But at the same time, if I am trying to give from a cup, I'm trying to pour knowledge, I'm trying to pour energy into a person, but I don't have the energy and the resources myself, I have nothing to give. And so I have to continuously fill my cup so that I can fill others as well. And that's important to realize, because when we are asked to give and give and give, and we simply don't have anything to give, we become resentful. And we become resentful because we feel like other people are taking something that we don't even have to give. I can tell you that I struggle with people taking my time, right? Like if I feel like I have something tasked for the day and then something comes along and disrupts it, I feel like, oh, he's taking my time. I only have so much of it. But when we look at the world as abundant, right? Like the world is abundant, that we, have what we need. We just need to tap into it. Time will not be looked at as something that's just ticking away. We have time. We just have to manage that time. And when we manage that time and we're able to give ourselves that time back, we are able to give it to other people. So things like mindfulness and meditation. I've started to really practice meditation and being mindful here in the moment. What is going on right now? How do I feel right now? Not yesterday or not tomorrow, but right now in the moment. And being thankful and having a sense of gratitude of just being here in the moment and sharing the moment with you or with whoever I am serving. is critical. Meditation will help to calm the mind, will help to bring you back center and to be able to, fill your energy back up. Exercise and physical activity is important to, you can't get to the gym, just walk. There's yoga exercises and stress management exercises that you can do physically to help with your mental capacity. Relaxation tips: listening to music that is calming and soothing would definitely help to relax those muscles and help you with your meditation. So, maintaining a work life balance is going to be critical. If your job is requiring too much of you, this can be disastrous. Instead of working harder, we need to work smarter. Learning how to manage these tools and manage our time will help us do just that. So, there's certain things that we need to ask ourselves. Do we have clear boundaries of working time and time that we have for ourselves? Do we also have boundaries that are blurred? Are we able to establish like a boundary between ourselves at work and work from time to time? I can tell you that the most powerful word that you will ever use when establishing boundaries is the word no. I had a hard time using the word no because I always felt like I had to be the one to say yes. I always had to be the one I felt to give myself, to give more and more and more. And when you are that person, people will take. Um, I am one to believe that people will respect the word no when the word no is used strategically, when you have to use it. And so if you cannot take on another project, if you cannot, pick up the phone and talk to someone because you're going through an issue, when you cannot take another thing and put it on your plate, you are responsible. You are called to use the word no. Maybe you can't do it right now, or maybe you can't take that call. Putting no in your arsenal is going to be detrimental to making sure that you can manage your time and yourself in a respectful way. So there's task management systems, right? There's project management tools like Trello and Monday.com. And then there's also ways of tracking your time. And using some of these tools to actually literally track your time will show you exactly how your time is spent. I used to say that I'm always working. I'm always working. I'm always doing something. I'm always doing this. I'm always doing that. And I never know where my time goes. I'm like, my time just disappeared. And I'm always left with feeling like, wow, I really thought I was doing something. I really thought that I was working. I really thought that I was producing something. But when I went to track my time, what I did from hour to hour, I found those gaps that I said I could have done things better here, or I should have done things better there. And so using those task management systems and tools will be helpful in tracking your time so that you can see where your time is spent and where it's going, and how you can increase working smarter and not harder. So again, taking care of yourself, stress creeps on us and it affects us both mentally and physically. We often fail to recognize stress, but it's essential to handling it. And even though we get all kind of curveballs and stress balls thrown our way, it is up to us to catch, to dodge, and to throw back. So not being afraid of taking that stress ball and pitching it back to somebody else is going to be key to helping you manage your stress. Also, dodging. It's okay to dodge, not being flaky and flaking out on tasks and activities, but maybe you can't do something because you are committed to doing something else. And so you might have to repel or to dodge or to catch and throw back. Now, there's some that you can catch and put on your plate, but there's others that you might not be able to do right away. So, try methods to alleviate stress, such as regular breaks and stretching, even at work. It's okay to get up and stretch and to walk around and to take a quick walk around, your home or your building. In the evenings, go to the gym, play music if you're listening to a book, or if you need to, listen to something, to do a report. Go to the gym and listen to that while you're working out. So for next steps, here are some rules that can help keep that you can keep in mind. What systems or tools are helping you to be better organized? Consider your work-life balance. Do you have clear times at work? Do you have clear times that you're off? Keeping that boundary and preventing the blur between work and personal. How do you know when you're stressed and identify activities to help you de-stress? The next pillar is managing others. It's not enough to just manage yourself, but we have to manage other people as well. And it can seem more simple than what it actually is. You can't control other people. You can control yourself, right? You can control how you feel and what you do physically, but you can't control how other people feel and what they do and what they physically do. But what you can control when it comes to other people is how you react to them. And that is how you can, one, control and manage others. Doing things like setting clear boundaries, establishing time where you can have your open door. We used to say, I have an open door policy, but is that really truly healthy? Are we completely accessible, or do we need time to set aside to take breaks? When will you be allowed to be accessible, and when will you be allowed to have some limitations? So setting clear boundaries are going to be important to managing others. So it's not so much just that you have to set boundaries. You have to communicate to other people that you need boundaries too. So letting people know that, here are my office times, or here's a time where I'm completely available, or putting a sign up that says I have to do something right now and I'm not accessible. What I found, when you set boundaries for other people and when you're not completely accessible, is that pushes people to hold themselves accountable. I'll give you an example. With my children, right? I used to feel like, I'm the mom, I'm responsible for everything that they do and say and get done and whatever. But there were times where I felt like, okay, you're a teenager, you should be able to do X, Y, and Z. So when I had a teenager that came to me and said, Mom, can you help me, with my homework, or Mom, can you help me with this, or can you help me find my sock or my shoe or whatever? There are times that I had to make myself unavailable so that they can learn how to do things on their own. I am starting to manage how I respond and how I show up in their lives, and that's setting clear boundaries. And it's okay to say no. They might not like it, especially if you have been always the type of person to, be completely accessible. When you set boundaries and limitations, sometimes that can be difficult. But I'm here to tell you that fosters an atmosphere and an environment for them to be self-sufficient. And we all want that. Whether we're parents, whether we are managers or leaders, whether we own our business and we're business owners and we want people to do what we want them to do, helping to set a environment so that they can thrive, so that they can learn, and not doing for them is critical. So start to think about ways that you can set boundaries that you can set expectations and that you can make yourself unavailable so that they can start to be empowered to do things on their own. Stop overcommitting. Saying no is difficult, again, but it's critical. It is important to say no sometimes, and that um, there's times that you may need space for you, and that's okay. It's okay to pad time so that you can get things done. And using the word no, I am telling you right now, will give you some of your time back. Now, as a servant leader, right, we don't say no all the time. We say yes because we want to give, because we want to do, and that's okay. But at the same time, there are some times that we are going to have to learn how to say no and use that no word strategically. Set time limits. Set time limits such as phone calls, meetings, and discussions. Don't let a meeting go for 2 or 3 hours. Have an agenda. Set limits. Delegate is going to be critical for setting time limits. You can't do everything. You have to delegate, and finding leader strengths and finding strengths in your team and your family and honing in all those strengths so that you can set time limits for yourself and that you can delegate to other people. Be mindful of time and wrap up accordingly. Setting time limits. If a conversation requires more time, schedule a follow-up. And I have started to use the time limit on meetings and correspondence and phone calls strategically. So I sometimes have a hard and fast rule on when things will end. And if things need more time, schedule a follow-up. Don't allow people to rob you of your time. Try to keep small talk at meetings to a bare minimum. So the third pillar is managing things. The things that are constantly involved in our lives, right? The notifications, the social media, the pictures, all of those things, getting things done, whether it's cleaning or walking the dog or those tasks. The easiest pillar is to take control of your physical environment. And even though I say it's easiest, it's still difficult when we are attached to those things. When we are attached to the things that we use to manage, then become to manage us. And how do we take that back? Making a few simple changes will make your work much more efficient. Clearing clutter. Oh my gosh, this is probably the most important thing that you should take control of is your work environment. Reduce clutter and organize your workspace to know exactly where things are so that things are not in disarray, so that you can think strategically, so that you can get things done is going to be paramount. Take time to declutter. Take time to organize. And for me, I need to work hard at organization. Organization does not come easy for me. I literally have to work hard at organizing, and that's okay. So when you take time to organize, you are not only organizing your workspace, you are organizing your mind. You're organizing the ways in which you think. You're organizing the strategies and the tasks and all of the loops that come along with getting things done. You are organizing your brain and the way that you function in the world. And I'm telling you right now, when you take time to organize your space, you are organizing your mind. Identify what you don't need and get rid of it. I have a hard time getting rid of things, and so I need to understand that if I throw something out, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'm not throwing out, the blueprints to, saving the planet. I'm literally just throwing out the piece of paper that I don't need anymore and that has old information. So getting rid of things and detaching from those things are very, very important to decluttering your life. Create an idea for ideas and the daily activities. Find a place where you can be creative. Find a place where you can think. And it might be two different places. You might have a place that's designated for creativity, and you might have a place that's designated for getting daily tasks done. And that is okay. If you need to write or like draw or paint or get your creative ideas flowing, it might not be in the same space where you answer emails, or it may not be in the same space where you are working on a budget. So think of a place that you can preserve for ideas, creativity, and ways that you can connect outside of just the day-to-day activity. Stock up on shelves, baskets, and file folders. I am a file folder queen because I try my best to be organized. So keeping personal and work completely separate. So that budget for the home needs to be different than the budget for work. So keeping these things separated can definitely help you declutter your mind and be focused. So, what is time management? We always talk about time management, what it is and what it can do, and how important it is, right? But it literally is the process of planning and controlling how much time we spend on a specific activity, how to prioritize and set goals, and how we use tools to effectively get things done, how we maximize our time and minimize the stress, and also how we involve the balances from short and the separation from short-term and long-term goals. How do we effectively time manage tasks, and how do we manage other people in our lives and that are around us? It is the management of all of these things that needs our attention. And it may seem like a lot, but if we practice and have a strategy down, we can digest it in parts and pieces. So, what are the best approaches to time management? Number one, prioritize. This is probably the most important part of time management that you can do. Is there's things that are going to float to the top of the list that you need to complete first, and there's things that are going to kind of be on the bottom that maybe you can put on the back burner. Not completely ignoring them, but understanding there are priorities and things that need to get done and need your immediate attention, and things that might be able to wait or delegate. Number two, set goals. Having the SMART goals, right? That are specific, achievable, that are realistic and measurable, and that require what kind of time is required to accomplish them are important. Regularly view and adjust your goals when needed. It is important to have a goal and be focused on accomplishing that goal. Time blocking, we talked about this before. Being able to block out certain time periods to get things done where you're hyper focused and you're hyper task oriented, but you're able to then use that time that's heightened and then also use that time that's down so that you can be more proficient and get things done more effectively. Avoid multitasking. I used to think and used to be in the school of thought that we can multitask, but I'm here to tell you right now, we cannot multitask. We can only switch tasks, which means that we can never, ever, ever give 100% of our attention to something if our attention is going in a couple of different directions. Listening to something while we're writing something else, on the phone while we're talking to our kids. And we have to know that when something is demanding our attention and is critical, we have to give 100% of our attention, or we're not doing it any justice at all. We can only realistically, our brains are wired to realistically only hone in on one activity at a time. So I cannot be on this call, on this training, while I'm trying to write something or I'm trying to listen to something else. I have to give my full attention because I care about it, because I want my best, attention and energy presented to that. And I don't want to miss anything. I can tell you that, I used to think that as a mom, I can, watch my kids and I can, I can listen to them, but I can also be on the phone and talking and doing work at the same time. And I was not giving my full attention to like my kids or what they needed. And I felt like I was slighting them. So I decided that I am going to, number one, stick to getting things done by completely focusing all of my attention on one thing, and switch tasking, to get multiple things done. Switch tasking is okay, but multitasking is not okay. And also, 5, self-discipline. Setting boundaries and limits to prevent distraction. Turning off your email notifications and tracking your time is going to be important. This takes discipline. It takes the ability to say, you know what, this needs to happen. Let me put everything aside and let me practice the art of self-disciplining myself to keep track of my time and setting boundaries. This will change the way in which you do business. Self-reflection. Regularly review how you're spending your time. Are you wasting time scrolling on social media? Are you attending to needs? How's your day going? Are you getting things done? Really self-reflecting and understanding where you fit into the picture of managing. So here are some best tried and true methods of managing your time so that you can get things done. Number one is setting a to-do list. Writing things down, prioritizing and setting deadlines is going to be critical to managing your time and getting things done. Checking things off the list, seeing the progress that's made will help you be motivated. Number 2, time blocking. Again, can't stress it enough. Block time for you. Be completely and solely focused on getting a task done and minimize distractions. Put time aside that can be no longer than 30 minutes to completely focus and hone in on an activity, and then take those breaks so that you can get your mind to be rejuvenated and get ready for the next task. Pomodoro method. This is my favorite. Taking that time to completely hone in on an activity and taking those breaks. Tracking your time, keeping track of how you spend your day. And when you do a self-inventory on how you spend your day, it is going to speak volumes to how you are really, really spending your time. Prioritizing. Keeping that to-do list. Ask, if I only do one thing today, what would it be? What would you get off your list? What's the urgent thing that needs to get done, and get that task completed? Automate tasks. There's so many tools out there that will help you automate a certain activity. So if you have to send emails out, learn how to self-automate. Set those self-automations up so that you don't have to go back to that task and activity. It can be cleared off your plate and you can focus on something else. Next steps. Clear the clutter and organize your workspace. Conduct a time audit. Try to time manage your time by management methods. Develop a simple system to prioritize a to-do list and automate tasks, and look for tools that you can use to get things done. There's so many resources out there. Pick one that works for you and stick with it. I want to thank you for joining me today and being a part of this training. Please leave your comments below if you want to see more trainings like this and what trainings you're interested in. It has been my pleasure to present to you the things that's worked for me, and hopefully some tools that I presented to you and also some resources that I will present down below will help you be your best you when you manage your tasks and manage yourself at work. Remember, managing yourself, managing others, and managing things will help you be a better you and manage your stress at work. Thank you.